You've probably been told that perfect ball striking comes from keeping your head down, staying still, hitting down, or trying to compress the golf ball. But what if all of this is actually holding you back? In this video, we'll bust one of the biggest myths in golf and show you how one simple skill can completely transform your ball striking. It's not about control or precision, it's about feel, freedom, and letting the swing do the work. And that's all coming up in this video. I think it's fair to say we're all trying to strike the golf ball nicely. We're trying to strike the ball correctly. But are we actually getting in our own way of the whole thing? I see quite a lot of guys very much coming from this idea of compression. I've got to hit down on the golf ball. I've got to keep my head down. I've got to focus on the ball there, and very much getting in the way of myself, robbing myself of a free-flowing swing. What we want to do is start to just give you some alternatives, some ideas to just get you questioning some of those beliefs, indeed, if that's what we're sort of chasing there. Very much an idea of, if I was to take a stone in my hand on the beach and look at just skimming that stone, how the action, there's no trying to compress anything. I'm not trying to come down at all. That, of course, wouldn't work in the effort to skim the stone. How my angles start to change and things start to become shallower and more sweeping, and actually take on some of the look, of course, of a flowing golf swing, rather than this idea that I've got to hit down, pull down, keep my head down, strike. One of our deadly don'ts at Easiest Swing. Got to keep my head still, got to keep my head down, got to keep my eye on the ball. Let's really start to challenge some of those beliefs. And as I say, just with the idea of the skimming the stone there, how my body shape and everything completely changes if I was to act out that idea of skimming a stone rather than pulling my elbow in, driving my hips, compressing the golf ball, as opposed to good ways there. Good ways in the way that my target is the intent. I've got to swing through to the target, not hit down on the golf ball. Okay. Other ideas, if the skimming the stone doesn't work for you, let's go to the other hand and imagine I was just going to throw a frisbee backhand. Again, how to deliver that frisbee forwards, flat. Okay, again, there's no intent to drive down. That wouldn't work. The frisbee would just cut straight into the ground there. I'm looking at staying up, sweeping, swinging, from motion, from movement. So that's all very well, throw in. Well, what about when I've got the club in my hand? Very much the same thing. I'm looking at sweeping and swinging towards my target, get into my finish position. That's my ultimate goal, rather than this enormous interference of the golf ball midway. Okay, as soon as that's in there and I've got to get down in on this, that's it, things are starting to move in other directions, rather than free myself of the golf ball. Don't be a prisoner of the ball. Be very much a follower of the club. Now again, we quite often hear, well, if I'm doing that, it's, I'm not going to get any compression or any divot on the golf ball. Well, my first sort of question to that is, we don't need to take a divot, that's it. It's, compression, yes, is helpful, but to what degree, really? I certainly consider I get enough compression on the golf ball just focusing on swinging through anyhow, without the need to try to encourage. Let gravity be your friend and naturally take care of the downward blow that we naturally need, rather than anything that's additional, anything that's manufactured, anything that's artificial, which will only ever breed inconsistency. So step it in there, nice and relaxed. That's it. Very much my thought on swinging through the golf ball to a finish, rather than any thoughts of digging, head down. I'm over-exaggerating, of course, but again, this is what you're trying to do. Just there's enough in there to get a good strike on that golf ball without the need to be digging, compressing, focusing on the ball.
Imagine waking up to sunshine, the sound of waves, and a golf swing that feels effortless. This is more than golf. This is freedom, connection, and pure joy on some of the most breathtaking golf courses in the world. With expert guidance from Easier Swing coaches Shan Heron and Aaron Galbraith, you'll come away with an effortless swing with rhythm and confidence that stays with you long after the trip. Join us in Greece for the ultimate Easier Swing golfing paradise experience. Unwind, improve, and rediscover why you fell in love with the game. Spaces are limited. Visit easierswing.com, look up Golfing Paradise in Greece, and secure your place in golfing heaven.
So a positive consequence of this freedom of movement, this swinging through, is the low point of my swing, the bottom of the swing, moves through and is actually after the golf ball. The negative consequence, of course, when I'm trying to make contact with the golf ball and interfering with the swing, is I really narrow the chance and the area it is of striking the ball nicely. So as I'm in here with the couple of demonstrations we had earlier on, the throwing of the frisbee, which requires movement through the ball, the skimming the stone, again movement through the ball versus this intent to hit right down precisely, specifically on top of the golf ball, to compress, to hit, to squeeze, and all the staticness that comes along with it. Head down, body still, really narrows my margin for a good strike. As we've just sort of said there, the consequence of freedom of movement, flow of swing, intent to swing to the target, and freeing myself of the golf ball really does start to give me the desired good striking that we're after. Okay, I'm really not being influenced by the golf ball in any way, shape or form. It's not interfering with my swing at any point. I'm moving freely. I'm uninterested in that golf ball. Okay, once it's taken my attention to address it, I'm there, I'm happy. I really am paying no attention to that golf ball. I'm merely looking to swing the club with motion, with movement, keeping everything as relaxed as we can, as smooth as we can, and as flowing as we can. And it's quite a refreshing feeling to hit, a volume of golf balls, a block practicing, if you like. I've got 30 balls, all with the same club. Just repeating, just moving through, throwing that frisbee, skimming that stone, rather than 30 balls or more with the intent to hit, dig, compress. It's just not pleasurable. It's just not easy. Everyone's dream of hitting the golf ball with their practice swing, how flowing and effortless it all is. It's that only changes when the golf ball gets in the way. And it's that golf ball's influence. Look at me, stay with me, hit me, rather than, no, put him there, put him in the way of the swing, relax, move, challenge yourself to follow the club, not be a prisoner of the ball, and of course follow the club backwards, but as we're talking about most importantly today, forwards, throw the frisbee, skim the stone, swing the club, move with your body. Allow that just to happen. And as we keep referring back to for today's video, the consequence of which is the low point of your swing will be through and just after the golf ball, without any effort from you, without any manufacturing, hard work, and the whole thing can just flow nicely through there.
So if you've just found easier swing, just come and join the thousands of golfers around the world who are finding an easier way to play the game. It's not technical, it's not difficult, anybody can do it, and you can improve your game in the simplest possible way. You just need to check out our website, easierswing.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. We've also got the Positive Impact Golf book there, where you can download the first few chapters and get a look at that, see what you think, and if you want to, you can get the rest of the book, and you can also have a look at our new book, The Easiest Swing in Golf. So I hope you enjoy those resources. easierswing.com.
So if the content of today's video has got your interest there, get yourselves to the driving range, very much work on some of the exercises, very much like I'm demonstrating here, are easier swing, are Le Dance to golf. Very much sort of see how things are just moving forwards. One part moves, all parts move. And it's down to the individual. You know, very much what I'm doing here very quickly turns into some of our other demonstrations today. The Frisbee is in there. Things staying level here, no digging. You know, I'm not trying to get that Frisbee down. I'm not trying to get that Frisbee up. I'm trying to get that Frisbee forwards. Again, back into Le Dance to golf. Very much the same motion as that, and the golf swing, the Frisbee, or indeed those that take better feel with the right hand and the skimming of the stone, how that's very much in there to skim a stone, how I'm staying on this plane rather than digging down at the golf ball, trying to get under the golf ball. You know, that's not going to skim a stone. That's not going to skim a stone. That will skim the stone. Other easier swing friends that we have are the swing caddy. Again, just using the click of the swing caddy. You know, I don't want that click coming in before the golf ball. You can see again, I'm dropping, I'm starting to go up, or I'm starting to come down on the whole thing. Just letting it relax, letting it swing. You can hear the click post golf ball rather than pre-golf ball, the jamming up. This is one of the reasons, well, of course I'm going to hit the ground before the ball. I'm going to hit the fat shot. I'm coming in this way. So your swing caddy is a good one to consequentially get a good low point of the swing. Good low point of the swing encouraging, or guaranteeing, if we like, really, good striking of the golf ball. For some of you that work well with kind of visual ideas and golf swings, of course, Annika Sorenstam, very much sort of leading with the eyes as she swings, leading with the face, the head, you know, very much at impact, looking at the target rather than looking at the golf ball. So any of those ideas, any of those analogies, any of those feelings, that's how I'd throw a Frisbee. That's how I'd skim a stone. As I say, the consequence of that relaxation, that movement, that motion, that flow. Perfect strike of the golf ball. Absolutely perfect, that one. And right next to the hole. That's worked out good. Nice and relaxed. Flowing through. Good. Another one. Easy. Relaxed. No problem. Good. Well, again, it's consequential. You know, I'm making that swing. I'm believing myself of even less thinking, less trying, more flow, more movement through the golf ball. I'm striking it better, and today's technology, or this business here, I mean, the last two shots I haven't seen the distance, but I mean, they didn't look any more than 6 to 10 foot away from the hole. But it's consequential. I'm not paying attention to that target. I'm paying attention to the swinging club and interfering, influencing it as little as I possibly can. Throw the Frisbee, skim the stone, move through with the club, fastest point after impact, lowest point after impact, all consequential. Relax, smooth. Another one there, coming in nicely, pin high. And here when I'm coaching, it's a trick shot. What's this sorcery? What's this witchcraft? But just think about it. There's in any other sport, the tennis, simple forehand shot. I'm not watching the ball onto the racket. I'm not trying to hit. I'm not trying to strike anything. I'm just swinging the racket through. It's very much the same thing with your golf. If you are tennis players as well as golfers, use a little bit of that. Use that feel. Just moving through, not being a prisoner of that golf ball. Very much a follower of the club. So we very much hope you've enjoyed this video. Get out onto the driving range, practice feelings throwing the frisbee, skimming the stone, or indeed go to the park. Actually do those things. Go to the beach, skim that stone, but while you're there, think, this is my golf practice. How would I feel the golf swing? Get down there and do that sort of thing. So yes, very much hope you've enjoyed that video, and we will see you in the future ones. Thanks very much.